So first things first, man. Let's talk about what's going on with Marvin Harrison. I'm not sure. We knew that some of this NIL stuff was going to come back and and going to be trouble. Some of this is going to be trouble. Well, it looks like this might be a little bit of trouble. Appreciate it, Keith. Be a little bit of trouble for Marvin Harrison Jr. because Fanatics is taking him to court. So basically, what has happened is, if people are not familiar, let's kind of recap it. Marvin Harrison Jr. signed an NIL deal with Fanatics. You know, signing autographs, jerseys, all that stuff with Fanatics. They paid him upwards. I think it was a little more than $1 million. They sent out two payments. One went in August of last year, and another one in October. Well, Fanatics has come back and saying, hey, you haven't completed or fulfilled your obligations to us. And you got to fulfill those obligations before you can move on. Part of what's going on is because he hasn't signed his likeness deal with the NFL Players Association. He hasn't signed that yet. Now, he has to sign part of that deal because he has to be part of the union in order to play in the NFL. So that part we all know. But the second part of it is that he hasn't signed the likeness part because he wants to do his own thing, which you can do that. You know, you can do that. And that's a good thing. And so because he's doing that, Fanatics is like, hold on a second. You still owe us some of these obligations. And I think part of it is because he left school early. How Fanatics didn't know that he was going to leave school early is beyond me. Marvin Harrison Jr. is saying, hey, I didn't sign any of this. This doesn't apply to me. There's no agreement in place. I did what I was supposed to do. One of the big things right now is that he's got the official Harrison Collection LLC that he is selling his stuff on. He is out there putting it out there, the Harrison Collections website. And Fanatics is like, hold on a second. You still owe us. You can't be putting this stuff on your own personal website. You still owe us. You got to be putting this stuff through us. You haven't fulfilled your obligation. He's saying that, doesn't matter. So in the suit, Fanatics basically is saying that Harrison told the retailer that a large competitor had made an offer to him. And it sounds like Marvin Harrison Jr. is trying to, let's just say, renegotiate the deal that he already has in place because somebody else has offered him more money. And Fanatics is like, absolutely not. They can offer you whatever you want until you've fulfilled your obligations to us. You're not signing nothing. And like I said, all this stuff on this NIL stuff is starting to come to fruition. You know, guys are getting paid this certain amount of money in college, but like we said before, when you're a big time player, the money is always greater at the professional level. Sounds like he got offered more money. Now he can't accept it, and it is a fight. And Fanatics is big money. They're not going to go down without a fight. We paid you in college. We gave you this money. You're going to fulfill these obligations. I don't care what somebody else offered you. Marvin Harrison is saying that's not in place. That's not the case. But for me, it's kind of simple. And I think for you guys, it's probably pretty simple too. Either there's a contract in place or there's not. It's pretty much that simple. Either there's something there or there's not something there. So, and I think that's kind of what it is. And I think Harrison doesn't want to be with Fanatics anymore and wants to move on because he feels like this other deal that he has in place is with a better company, more money, didn't give Fanatics an opportunity to even compete with the offer and wants to move on. Fanatics is feeling some kind of way, and now they're going to court. And for me, like I said, the court case, I think, is going to be pretty cut and dry. It's either You have a contract saying this or you don't. Marvin Harrison said, nope, this doesn't exist. They're saying it does. Now they're going to court to find out. So we'll see what happens with all this. I think it's fascinating because he can't even sell any of his NFL jerseys yet. So he can't even get any of that out on the market because, again, he didn't sign the NFLPA agreement. Now, whether he does that or not, I don't know whether he does. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But as of now, he has not signed that. He can't even be in the Madden game. Now, come on now. Now, I understand wanting to, capitalize on your marketing and make as much money as you can. You know me. I think everybody should be able to make as much money as humanly possible. They absolutely should be able to do that. Having said that, everybody, and I mean everybody, wants to be on Madden. I mean, isn't that look, obviously the main thing is the main thing, being a star in the NFL. But you want to be on Madden. That's the whole thing. You want to absolutely be on Madden. So to sit here and to not be a part of that for right now anyway, that's got to hurt. That's got to hurt. So we'll see what happens with this case. They're going to court. I don't know that there's going to be a settlement because if one side's saying that you haven't fulfilled your contract and the other side saying, hey, this doesn't even exist, for something not to exist, I don't know how there can actually be a settlement. But we'll see. Sometimes cooler heads prevail. Sometimes they do, But if I'm Marvin Harrison Jr., don't you come up with a way, unless he just doesn't like the name, Maserati Marv. Don't you also come up with a way to try to manipulate and monetize that? Get with our man, Gus Johnson, Maserati Marv, and somehow try to capitalize on that. I think he's got to, you know? I mean, Gus Johnson, number one, I think in college football, best in the business, and especially at giving out nicknames. I think he capitalizes on it. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But yeah, this is crazy what's going on with Marvin Harrison Jr. Like I said, it's one thing to say that a contract doesn't exist. It's another thing to say, well, somebody else offered me more money than what you are offering, so I want to go with them. And Fanatics is like, absolutely not. You're not doing any of that. We're going to hold your feet to the fire. You knew that you were going to be good. You knew that somebody could possibly go. You should have put that in the contract. If somebody offers me more money, I can sign with them, or I at least have to bring that opportunity to you. Now, who knows who it is, that's offering him more money. I mean, who knows? But the bottom line is now it's a fight. It's going to the New York Supreme Court. To me, it's a little silly, but hopefully cooler heads will prevail. Hopefully cooler heads will prevail. Our man Darren Howard says when the dust settles, he'll be with the NFLPA. But these kids, they think they can do whatever. There were zero guidelines on these NIL deals. That's exactly the case. There were no guidelines whatsoever in college. The NCAA has screwed that up royally. And now here we are. He's going to the pros thinking he can do the same thing. I'm surprised his father didn't advise him better when it came to this. I'm surprised his father didn't say, hey, son, look, it's fine that you want to take part in this, but when it comes to the NFL, you're not going to have choices. You're going to be part of the NFLPA. You're going to have to do the things that they are saying to do in order to play in the NFL. End of story. So it's weird. Maybe he wanted to try to challenge it, and if that's where you're at with it, okay, but you're going to lose. And he lost. And he's going to end up losing this. So whatever the case may be, like I said, I thought it was fascinating enough to bring up and talk about today. My man Tanner says, does the NCAA and the NFL need a workforce to keep this kind of stuff from happening? Absolutely, they do. Absolutely. But the NCAA has dropped the ball so much, the NFL's probably not going to work with them because they don't want to be associated with them. Because they're like, we're not working with these people. These people are idiots. We're not doing anything with these people. But you're right. Yes, they absolutely need something. So it'll probably get Marvin in Madden, if not this year, with the next 2 years. Yeah. And like I said, he's not going to be in the Madden game this year, but in the next couple of years, he will be, which again, that's got to sting the ego a little bit because, like you said, keeping the main thing in the main thing, playing football in the NFL is the main thing. But don't tell me kids don't want to be in Madden, that you don't want to be in Madden. I don't want to hear that. Everybody wants to be in Madden. Everybody. So, but we'll find out. We'll find out. The bottom line is, yeah, I like this. What my man Sideshow says. And yes, he thought he was returning. Yeah. And I think they put the deal in place, maybe thinking that he was going to go back to school. And maybe he signed it and tried to manipulate him and say he was going back to school when all along he knew that he wasn't. So it is what it is at this point. We'll find out in court. But it's kind of a weird beginning to an NFL career. You know what I'm saying? Getting sued by an apparel company before you even take a practice. So, but it is what it is. Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he's gonna have a great career. I think he's gonna be in line to have a good rookie season. I don't think Arizona's gonna win a whole lot of games, but they're rebuilding. We'll find out what happens.